What is going on, everyone? Kurt sitting here with a Master League battle video. It's a few days old, and it's actually a team probably wouldn't recommend. It's triple weak to any sort of fighting move, but close combat. And by triple weak, I mean all three Pokemon are weak to that. Uh, it's pretty weak to ground, and yeah, but somehow it seems to work. Like, this particular video is a 4-1 set, but I've gone positive in all the sets that I've run with it. And I don't know, it's definitely very tricky to run. And as you can see here, you run into a lot of Pokemon, either ground moves or fighting moves and stuff like that. But if you're interested in a handful of fun battles and kind of watching how I play around bad leads and those tight or tough Pokemon, feel free to join me for the video and we'll go through it. So we're both down a shield and a Pokemon. So I come back in with Melmetal, and I kind of feel like this is a situation where Thunder would be good. I think it learns Thunder uh, for the Kyogre, and then in theory, Thunder would also be good. Maybe Thunderbolt, I should check that. But it would also be good against like the Origin form Palkia, where it would also still be effective against any flyers and Togekiss and stuff like that. So I'm just literally thinking of that as I'm going through this replay. Uh, Rock Slide is not super effective against water. That's the only thinking that I'm thinking there. But I'm gonna go for another Rock Slide here against the Kyogre, and takes it out with another Thunder Shock. And there's a Togekiss in the back. So this is pretty much GG's. Get to the Rock Slide here. I don't think this quite takes out. No, not even close. But even if they do take me out, I do have the Rhyperior. And that's actually why I switched, because I was like, well, I don't want them to farm me down and then get to 2 moves before I'm able to get to that Rock Wrecker. But one of their moves is Aerial Ace. The other one's probably either Ancient Power or Flamethrower. But on the off chance that they had a Aurora Sphere, that would do a lot of damage. So good game to that trainer there. Into the next match here, you got Melmetal into Dragonite. So this is actually where Rock Slide is better, I believe. I think it would do more damage, although it's still just a flying type. So hard to say. I'd have to, somebody look it up and tell me in the in the comments and let me know, because I'm not 100% sure how to pause these and look that sort of stuff up while I'm doing it. I'm not doing the videos on a computer and stuff like that, so makes it a little bit trickier for me to do that sort of video. I think Rock Slide Superpower is the recommended moveset as well, so I'll go with that. So I'm gonna catch a move here, and I decided to shield in case it's a superpower, because I started second guessing myself, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've been superpowered, and it does a lot of damage on a Dialga. So they bring in their own Rhyperior, and Ironhead does super effective damage, so that's pretty good there. They probably could have got away with 2 more Mud Slaps and farm right down, but they do throw a Breaking Swipe and then mud Slaps. So they get a little bit 1 move of energy, but it allowed me to just farm them right down. And on the back, they actually have a Skeldridge, and I go for Rock Wrecker. This should be like almost, yeah, 1 shot takes them out. Another good game there. Right into the next match here. Xerneas into Melmetal. And this is an example, like I really have nothing with Melmetal to throw at Xerneas. Right? Because I could have the double Iron Bash or something like that. But they can throw close combat, and that's gonna like do so much damage to the Melmetal. And what do I switch out? What do I switch into? right? When I meet this. So I go for the, in theory, bait Moonblast, which is a super hard hitting move. And I no shield the first move. Go for another Rock Slide. And so it's working in my favor, right? I've got them down into the yellow. And here I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure they're going to close combat here. And I'm pretty sure they probably have 2. So sure enough, I do shield up a close combat. And then they bank a move. So I'm not sure if they actually have a full move or if they just decided to, they're like, I don't know what to do. So I go through for a superpower here and then go for another superpower. I know that it's not like super effective because it is part psychic and that's going to resist it. So it's more just neutral. But I wanted to do as much chip damage as I could so that I had the possibility of farming them down before they get to 2 moves. That was my thinking there, is that I figured they'd go for the big move, expend my last shield, farm them down, get a little bit of energy. Whereas if I left them too healthy, they would easily be able to just get to another move and take me out. So I go for the Rock Wrecker, which would take out, because the Breaking Swipe would not have taken them out there, as Fairy resists Dragon, obviously. So here you'll see a close combat come through. And look at how much damage that provides. Probably should have gone for Breaking Swipe, because they do just shield it. Yeah, so I had the opportunity, I had the potential to debuff there, but on the off chance they did not shield it, it would have played in my favor to go with the Rock Wrecker. So there they go for a Breaking Swipe, and I'm kind of scrambling a little bit here because I'm like, well, I don't want them to farm me down. Now they've debuffed my attack, so I don't really want to throw because it's not going to take them out fully. So I'm like, I'll just switch and either try to farm them down or get to a move here, and I mess up right here. I'm like, oh, I can make the farm down. Obviously, they get to another move. Throw the Breaking Swipe, take me out. I come in, I do farm them down. And I went for the move instead of trying to farm them down, and they win charge priority. So that was the one game that I lost in this whole set, and it was incredibly close. This one, if this is the right battle, I think the trainer loses connection, because they start. You can see them with the powder snows, and then they stop. And the circle, you can see the circle at the top just circling. So I go for the Rock Slide in case they're just kind of like, because you never know, right? Some trainers just bait you, or they stop tapping because for whatever reason they want to get farm, or like maybe he was like, oh, this is a horrible lead, I'm just gonna let him take me out, and then I'll come back in, but that way like you don't lose switch or something. So it's always really hard to tell. And what do you do? Like what do I do if they've lost connection? Right? If they've lost connection but they're not quitting, the game's not registering that they've left. If I leave, I get the loss. So you basically have to end up taking them out anyways. But it's a little bit boring here, but you see the Mamoswine there, correct shielding. So there you can see a superpower land. That does huge damage on a Dialga. You could live one, but a close combat would pretty much take you right out. And you can see here with the lag, how it you sit there and sit there and sit there. So take that out, and then they come in with the last Pokemon here. I'm like, okay, what are they doing? And it's a Groudon. Careful how I pronounce that one. So I go for another superpower here, and I'm so debuffed that I'm going to switch out into my Rhyperior, and there they start attacking. So, like, did they must, and then they stopped. So they must have been really struggling with service, because it just seems so weird for 2 full Pokemon to go through that they didn't attack at all, and then they tapped. So I was like, so I stopped for a second to see if they were going to attack again, but anyways. That game's there. Groudon on the lead here. And again, like, horrible lead, But what do I switch to? What do I switch to? Like, it's going to destroy all 3 of my Pokemon, right? So they go for a Fire Punch. I know shield that. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back-to-back superpowers or do a superpower and then bounce. But what do we see? What do we do here? Superpower, go for another superpower. It doesn't do as much as one might hope with them being just ground typing. But I do get them into the yellow. So I'm like, okay, now I have the legitimate possibility of farming down here. And I can expend a shield against the blades there. Forces them to switch. And now they switch into a Dialga of their own. So now I'm in the good position here. Breaking Swipe, super effective, also can debuff them. And the Mud Slaps are going to do super effective damage. And I'm already at another Breaking Swipe, which could debuff them more. It doesn't do super, like you can see there. So they ended up just giving up. They still had 3 Pokemon and a shield, and they're like, yeah, no, we're done. So I get a Palkia as a reward. And yeah, so that's pretty much the video. I did get a Palkia finally. That's 15, 15, 14. And I do intend to make it for next season and try that out and see how it goes in battles. Thanks for watching the video, and I look forward to seeing you guys all in the next one. Have a good night.